Well, as far as the development of the Strausswald property, it's a subdivision. By God, it's going to be a tremendous expense for them to go in there and lay. They got to have the streets laid out. They've got to have all of the utilities installed, to include sewer and water and all that crazy stuff's got to be done before they can put the first shovel in the ground to build a house. Now this thing she's talking about, laying out a plan and then building two houses, I don't think that's going to, I may be wrong, Darlene, but I don't think it works that way.
There are ways you can do it, but it's not the normal way. I have seen projects done that way, but it's obviously more expensive because you're only building a portion of those lines at a time, you know, and then you're having to keep extending it every time you have. Yeah, but a lot of it is going to depend on whether or not they can get pre-sales. You know, people committing, and then, you know, that's what they're talking about, is making sure that it's going to be viable.
And if you build a subdivision too, wouldn't it be expensive? Well, we go in and put water lines, sewer lines.
They have to put that.
No, that's the responsibility of the developer. That's what I'm saying, Jeff. All of that infrastructure goes in. Now, at one time, we can get, what they can do is, when it's all done, they can add it into the cost of the house if they want to. Okay. But once the streets are in, then they turn it over to the town to be included in the...
But they have to build the streets to VDOT specifications according to the town's code, so that they can in fact be accepted into the system, so we can get the annual maintenance money based upon those lane miles. The water sewer system has to be dedicated to the town for its continued operation and maintenance. In most communities that are built new today, they're going to have underground utilities for electricity, and they're going to want to put gas in, and we have gas in that part of the town, so that would be an additional amenity that they would be dealing with. So it's their expense. Now, there are certainly all kinds of options about how it actually gets developed, and it, you know, in some communities you might rebate something in order to incentivize the development if they got so many customers for you for water or something. All things that would have to be negotiated in advance of any approvals. So you're a long way from that, that's for sure.
It'll take a few years too.
But I would say to you that the idea of having new housing anywhere in the Alleghany Highlands is very appealing, because I think we lose people. They fill jobs, but we lose their psyche, their attention, their dollars, because they live someplace else. And the complaint that we hear is that they can't find what they're interested in.
Well, why do you real estate, why do we have so many houses for sale? And some's nice in Clifton, and they stay on the market for so long we can't sell them. If it's such a big thing for housing.
It's the kind of property people desire that. That's the whole thing, Jeff. A lot of folks do not want to go out here and buy a house that's going to cost them $40,000 after they purchase and go through all that rigmarole it takes to reconstruct it and everything. Most of these houses are at a point, I mean, even some of the newer houses, the one right next door to me, they've been working on for 30 days. They were built in 1955, 50 in that area. Well, everything in it needs to be updated. And I mean, bathrooms, kitchens, the whole now electrical systems. Most of them don't even have it.
Here's a perfect example. There's a house on that corner that been for sale for I don't know how long.
Which one?
Right there on that road as you go down the dip. Used to be a doctor owned it. Miss Morris and them lived there. You just sold it. I don't know who, but that's been for sale 2 or 3 times.
Well, that's a guy from West Fayetteville bought that, and he's been...
Well, there's a house that just sold, and you know the house because it got rebuilt on Roxbury for $130,000. So for every one we hear that's on the market for a long time, we have things that are moving. And it all depends on what people are interested in and what they're willing to pay. And I will tell you that people coming from outside the area see the price of housing here as very, very, very reasonable. But people who are in the area and are used to, paying lower prices, see the higher priced homes as out of reach. I'm not sure if they are or not, but they see it that way, and that's what's important.
Well, I think that the worst problem is we're not having that influx of people coming in that we would hope to have. Because we're at a stage here where there's not that much of an increase in employment.
I think we're the same boat as the county and Covington too. I mean,
Well, it's all, we're all in it together, sure.
Okay, so on September 5th, what time are we gonna meet? And we were gonna have the rescue squad representatives and then the representatives from the planning commission?
I think they'd be wise to attend.
Well, I think you should put it differently than that. If you want them to attend, you ought to say that you want them there, as opposed to,
It's a nice idea if you
Yeah.
come.
Certainly want to hear more.
We want them there.
Can we start at 6 o'clock? Is that too early?
I think I get off at 6 o'clock, I'd be here at 6:30.
6:30? Okay.
what is the 5th?
it's a Tuesday,
Tuesday.
the first day after Labor Day.
2 weeks from today.
So the message to the planning
And what do you
commission
want to do,
is
6?
that we'd like for them to attend
6:30?
a work session.
And hear more.
Do you want to have that work session here with us arranging some chairs out here? You want me to get the library, Armstrong room, if you think you're going to have a bigger group? Okay.
It's fine.
Do it here, 6:30? Okay. And
Make sure the air conditioning's working and we can hear.
it
And
can
it's
work,
not
it just
buzzing?
can't talk to us.
By that time, it might be 15.
They talked very loud today.
I know.
It was screaming.
It didn't buzz at the right time tonight, though.
When the rescue squad comes, it would be nice to know, he said he didn't want to go out of town, but have they considered any other location besides Hickory and Ingalls? Because apparently they have looked. They just said they wanted to stay in town. And I'd like to know the reasoning for that.
What, the reason to stay in town?
They
Well,
want to be close to the nursing homes, I would think.
Well, the industry, that area there would be very much of a positive for them being out there.
I know.
The fact that
I know.
there, you have within a quarter of a mile of either nursing home right there in front of it.
And we have specific questions like the setbacks and things like that.
Well, I'd like to see a drawing of some description of what the building's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
We have that.
You know,
I mean, if the aesthetics are appealing, then it shouldn't be a detractor to any kind of development. We don't know until development's actually gonna occur.
that's right.
You know, I sure would like to, doesn't really get the job done. So.
Well,
Years ago, fire departments were always situated in neighborhoods, just
Well, yeah,
as schools were.
I've seen bunches of them. There's
Yeah.
not a big problem. That's another reason why I was asking about, some kind of signal when they're gonna egress, so that anyone that would have any concern about that would be able to say, yes, we at least understand when it's gonna happen, so we can get off the road.
Oh, you just have a red light come on at that time.
And chances really wouldn't really even need that, because we don't even know when they're coming and going, until they get out in the open road and start turning sirens on. But if it make people feel better, then that answers all those questions.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I would just say if you all come up in the next week with other items or issues you want addressed by any specific party, if you'd let me know, I'll communicate those. I'll send out an email tomorrow and I'll call Matt Booz to set up the 5th at 6:30 here. And what you've told me so far, you all are interested in seeing or hearing, but if you think of something else, let me know.
Well, I mean, I know this council certainly wants to support the rescue squad, but
I want
we don't want to create World War III in the process either, so that's the way it works. But I like to say, there's an answer to the problem, I think.
Good, you find it between now and then.
We're going to be searching for it, Gabe. We're going to be on the ground searching for it.
Okay.
I think the answer is we take a vote and we live with it.
Well, that's what it's going to eventually come down to.
That's the
really.
answer.
You're right. Well, if we have no other business to be brought before this board, I suggest someone make a motion to adjourn.
I just wanted to say, after the last chamber meeting and when Rob Catlin spoke about certain things that were happening at C&O, I asked him to explain some of the questions, asked him to clarify, and I sent you all an email with his answers. So you can look forward to that. He did clarify some of his things.
When's he gonna get the turntable in?
That wasn't one of the questions.
It wasn't one of the questions, it was basically
Yeah,
the
yeah.
I
Amtrak.
haven't seen any shovels going.
Is there someone who wants to make that motion to adjourn?
I make a motion we adjourn.
I'll say.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All against? Stay here by yourself.